What is up, superheroes and villains? Welcome back to another Marvel Legends ranking video. Today, I don't have a whole lot of one character. I'm doing a whole Build-A-Figure wave. I love Build-A-Figure waves. I love Marvel Legends, and ranking Build-A-Figure waves is just so much fun. I love picking out which figures I like, which figures I don't like, and talking about that with you guys is going to be super, super fun. If you saw my video about Spider-Man, you will know that I have now moved out of my home state of Idaho and into Los Angeles, California. And the last movie I saw in my home state was Shang Chi, part of the MCU. It was a movie that I've been looking forward to ever since it was announced, because I am a martial artist and a Marvel martial arts movie sounded phenomenal. And then I had started picking up a lot of Shang Chi reading material in that gap between when it was announced and when it was released, and he has slowly become just overall one of my favorite Marvel superheroes. And so I can't wait to rank these figures, and you guys are going to have to let me know how my ranking compares to yours. Now, one caveat here is I did not get the Target exclusive Katie. She didn't look like a figure that was interesting to me, especially with the whole lower torso deal being kind of a dress. But then I saw the movie, and I didn't even pick her up when she was $6 in clearance. I should have. I didn't. And I saw the movie, and then I kind of regretted passing on her. So she's not on this list. So it's just the main Build-A-Figure wave for this video. Let's get into it. Coming in at the very bottom of the list, number 7, is the Civil Warrior. Now, he's not exactly a bad figure. He just feels very out of place in a Shang-Chi wave. I think he would have fit much better in maybe like the Gamerverse wave, the Joe Fixit wave, or something like that, because this is a design from a game, and it's Captain America, and he doesn't really have a lot to do with Shang-Chi or with the characters relating to Shang-Chi, besides, of course, both characters being on the Avengers together at some point, probably. It's a fine figure. Nothing spectacular about this guy. Design's all right. Articulation is just about normal. I just think he doesn't fit very well in the overall wave. I don't even mind that it's a comic figure in an MCU wave. I do like when they splice it up a little bit like that, but when they splice it up a little bit like that, I think it should fit the theme a little bit more. Like a couple of years back in the Thor Ragnarok wave, there was comic figures and there was movie figures, but the comic figures were a different version of Thor and Ares, who, okay, he's kind of fitting in because he's a god, but he fits in more than Captain America fits in a Shang-Chi wave. That's all I'm saying. Coming in at number 6 is the Build-A-Figure Mr. Hyde. I know for a lot of people, this was probably the main reason you wanted to get this wave. Those of you who don't like the MCU figures and whatnot and are all comic accurate guys, this was probably your number 1 and your main reason. He's a great figure. I've actually had a lot of time messing around with Mr. Hyde, and I think he looks phenomenal. Overall, aesthetic-wise, he looks really, really great. I just know very little about the character, and it's not really a Shang-Chi-esque character, at least as far to my knowledge as I know. The only thing that I know that I've read that I know he's in is the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. So it seems like it's a little odd fit, but I'm sure lots and lots of people enjoyed really getting this guy in this wave, maybe if it wasn't the right wave. I don't think it was the right wave for this. All right, breaking the top 5, coming in at number 5 is Death Dealer. Now, this is easily probably one of the best looking figures from this entire wave. One of the reasons I was complaining about the Katie is one of the reasons why this figure is a little bit lower on the list. It's this plastic that they use for the skirt. It's soft enough to move around and to kind of fit with the articulation, but at the same time, it's also restrictive enough to not really work and not really be able to get him in some of those super dynamic poses. But as an imposing threat, just kind of standing there neutrally, he does look very, very nice. This is, like I said, probably the best looking figure in this entire wave. There's just some things that limit and hinder articulation that for a figure like this, I wish that wouldn't happen. Because with a martial artsy fighty character, you really want them to be able to get into a lot of those flexible dynamic poses, but if they're being restricted by costuming, can't really do that. So that's why he's a little lower. Coming in at number 4, the girl boss herself, Xia Ling. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not 100% sure even after seeing the movie, but I think I got that right. Now, the main reason I like her so much is because I believe this is a brand new female figure sculpt, and it's so much better than the standard female sculpt that Marvel Legends uses. The standard Marvel Legends female sculpt is not one of my favorites. Whenever I get one of those figures, I usually have problems with the plastic feeling a little softer, causing the feet to, or the bottom like ankle to kind of warp slightly, and then she's not able to stand up properly. I have problems with that mold, even if it's a character that I really, really like, and it really upsets me. So getting a figure like Xia Ling here, who is a brand new sculpt, she can stand on her own, she can do sweet martial arts poses on her own. One of the only things that I wish she had is she does come with a coiled up rope dart as an accessory, but the rope dart is one of the coolest martial arts weapons ever, in my opinion. It's one that I want to learn how to use really, really bad. It was one of the weapons that inspired Scorpion's "Get Over Here" spear, and getting to see this on a figure and in the movie was absolutely spectacular. I just wish she came with one that was in a little more of an action pose, but overall, fantastic. Coming in at number 3, we're getting into the top 3. Go ahead and let me know what your top 3 are in the comments. We'll see if you can get them like mine. Number 3 is the classic Iron Man. Now, I'm giving this guy a pass on being on the Shang Chi wave in terms of being a comic figure that connects to the characters of Shang Chi, because the Mandarin, being the villain of Shang Chi, is originally and primarily an Iron Man villain, so throwing Iron Man into this wave isn't too far off. I'll let it pass, it makes sense. But also, I'm probably never gonna turn down a chance. Anyway, I'm never gonna turn down a chance to buy this Iron Man mold, the 80th anniversary armor mold, because it looks so good and it's such a great sculpt. Every time I get it, I love getting it and messing around with it and posing it. But this one is probably my favorite, most likely because it just gives me good nostalgic memories of the Superhero Squad show, because this is basically what Iron Man looked like in that show. And I love that show a lot, and I love that Iron Man. So this one makes me happy. Coming in at number 2, speaking of the Mandarin, it is the new version of the Mandarin himself, Wenwoo. This figure looks absolutely incredible. I think the face sculpt is spot on. It looks so good. And yes, he is a little bit restricted on backwards movement here, but the forward movements and articulation are pretty much there. You can get him into lots of super dynamic martial arty pose. I love the way the 10 rings look on his arms. I love some of these alternate hands. And he was also one of the best MCU villains that we have ever seen, especially lately. And in terms of origin story film villains, he is easily probably the best one. I absolutely loved this character in the movie. I love this character on my shelf. It'd be really, really cool one day to see if we can get a classic Mandarin. I don't know if that'll ever happen. If it has also in the past, let me know, because I would be interested in trying to get one. But for now, we will have Wenwoo as our Mandarin on the show. Well, we're down to number 1. You can probably guess who it's going to be. Yep, that's right. Shang Chi himself. This figure, absolutely incredible. I don't know what it is about it. I think the deco and the sculpt overall look fantastic, but I've also been able to get some really awesome and articulate martial artsy poses out of this sculpt. I don't know what it is about it, but I just love it. I love it so much. One of my biggest regrets right now is not buying the comic version of Shang Chi in that wave that came out like 2 years ago. That's definitely on my list to buy because I definitely need one. And I would love to put it next to this one just for fun because this guy is awesome. And I love that we get the staff going with it. And I hope one day we can get another version of Shang Chi where he has the rings on his arms or some type of ring accessory, because I think that would look really, really cool. I think maybe if anything they could have improved is they could have given him a different facial expression, because this one makes him look a little bored. But regardless, fantastic figure. If you collect MCU and you don't have Shang-Chi, I would absolutely recommend to get Shang-Chi, because he is probably one of the best MCU figures that has been put out, especially lately. Alright everybody, that is all I have for the Marvel Legends Shang-Chi wave of figures. Let me know in the comments what your ranking would be. Are we close? Are we off the scale a little bit? Do you collect MCU? Do you not? Because that depends. This wave jumped the gun a little bit coming out preemptively in April, but now that it's September and the movie has been out for a while, what are your feelings on it? I know a lot of us were feeling a little iffy about it back when April happened and all the promotion for Shang-Chi was happening, but the movie didn't come out until September. So have your thoughts on it changed at all? Let me know in the comments down below. That's all I've got for you guys today, and I will catch you next time.